Good evening, Isaac.
Good evening, Ryan. How are you, sir?
Tell us about your uniform for tonight's show.
It's a Lions jersey.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
They kick off in 45 minutes.
That's awesome. That's why we're going to keep this show tight and speedy, because our topic tonight is... That's where you come in.
Football.
Not football. It's racing games.
Oh, racing games. Sorry.
Racing games. And we have Parker Simpson on the show, the creator and illustrator for Trash Dash. This one's currently on Kickstarter.
Howdy.
Parker, how are you doing?
Good. Well, mostly good. I've been sick the last 3 days. So bear with me if I kind of zone out for occasionally.
So everybody watching this show does. There's a lot of zoning out.
That's true. That's what we try for. So,
but yeah, no, doing pretty good overall. Trash Dash is officially funded. So that's been a lot of anxiety off my shoulders. Awesome. Very excited to have that officially funded. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tim, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Glad you're with us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so this is the Game Chat. We like to talk about board games. We love it when you chat with us. So if you've got something to say, just throw it in the comments. We'll pop it up there, unless it's spam. So anyway, tonight's show is all about racing games, games where you're trying to speed to the end of the to meet a lap or a requirement to get to the end of the track. So we're going to be talking about some different mechanics that we like and talking about our pick 5, which is 5 games that we really enjoy in this genre of game. So, Isaac, do you have our first question?
I do indeed. Our first question is, and we'll start with our guest to work our way around. What is your favorite movie about racing or just speed in general?
That is a tough one. So if it's racing genre specific, in middle school, I really liked the Ricky Bobby movie, the Talladega Nights. What it was called.
That's what's up.
100%.
I don't feel like it hold up as well as what I thought it did when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty funny. For an actual race scene in a not racing specific movie, I definitely have to give it to Star Wars Phantom Menace. The pod racing segment is so good. Choice.
That's true. That does hold up really well still.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
It's funny because I actually have a combo answer because of the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So Talladega Nights. Yes.
Nice.
So Talladega Nights, I think, is a funny take on the racing genre, like stuff like Daytona. Like what was when I was a kid? What was the Tom Cruise movie? Was it Daytona 5 or
no? It was
something Daytona, right? I don't know.
I'll look it up.
But anyway, like I like the funny end of the racing genre. Days of Thunder, that's what it was. So, but I've recently been thinking about a bicycle racing movie called Quicksilver. Do any of you remember growing up watching Quicksilver with who is it? Kevin Bacon.
I may have already aged myself saying that I was in middle school when Talladega Nights came out.
Oh yeah, I was in college.
Millennial right here.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so there's a movie about I think he's a bike messenger. It's Kevin Bacon. He's a bike messenger, and he is like speeding around New York. I think it's New York. It could be Chicago. I don't know. But he's speeding around on this bicycle, and it's like a pretty crazy little movie that I've been thinking about a lot recently. So I'm going to go with Quicksilver.
To check that one out.
Yeah,
fair enough. I am not familiar.
I think it's late 80. It might be 88 or 89, something like that. I was a kid.
I was thinking about all the Fast and Furious movies, and like I haven't even seen all of them. I think I've only seen a few.
Nobody's seen all of them.
Oh well, challenge accepted. So
you're like, I watched them all this week.
Ford versus Ferrari is just a phenomenal movie. About Ford and Ferrari, starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Great movie. Really enjoy that one. But I think but I think for like race scene, the pod racing, absolutely super solid. But probably not their most well-known movie. But Speed Racer is just lights out. Like if you watch it, I think it's
the live version.
Yes, the live version. It was after the Matrix. It was the Wachowskis.
Wachowskis, yeah.
Put it there, and if you go back and watch it now, it's still visually holds. It's a good movie. It's a popcorn silly movie. The characters are silly. Racer X is kind of goofy in it, but the way that movie moves, I love it. Super good.
Speaking of movies, so Gran Turismo came out last year. That was a lot better than I thought it would be. That was
it was the video game kid, right?
Yeah. David Harbour, Orlando Bloom.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a lot better than I expected. We saw it when like there was a cheap movie day. I think AMC was doing like $4.99 movies. And so we watched it and I was like, yeah, that was far better than I expected. So.
Worth the $4.99.
What now?
I said it was worth the $4.99.
Oh yeah, it was worth the $5 I spent on that movie. So, yeah. So
our next question posed is: choose one. So during a race, would you prefer obstacles, like obstacles that can stop you, or opponents who can directly sabotage you? I wrote that. Ryan wrote that.
Yeah, no, that's that's right. Yeah, either the things in the road or somebody has control over sabotaging you.
There we go.
Another tough one. I don't know. It kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. I guess I was spoiled growing up with playing so many different racing video games that, like, if I'm in the mood to kind of like mess around with my friends and kind of like poke at each other, like that's a really good opportunity, like sabotaging, like Mario Kart or like Lego Racers on like the N64. But I also like I do have fond memories of playing games where it's just like you're doing the racing, you're not worrying about what your opponents are doing. These are ones that I would play probably like by myself instead of like in a group of friends. I think if I'm in a group of friends, I want to play something that you can mess with each other. If I'm just playing by myself, I would just be doing a regular racing game. But the one that I like a lot on the GameCube was the 1080 Avalanche. It's like a snowboard game. It was really fun. I have like no athletic ability either, so like being able to do the video game snowboarding was always really fun.
That's how I do all my athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
All my sports done virtually. So.
But that one was really fun, trying to like weave in or around all the obstacles and doing tricks and stuff. So
it's funny because talking about obstacles and stuff, I played a lot of SSX Tricky snowboarding game in my teenage years.
Game ever.
It was so good.
Ever.
And my son got into snowboarding games, but had never played, like, he had only seen me play it. You know, I think there was a remake or something. At some point he saw it when he was a little kid, but now he plays all of the newer ones, and he really likes those. I would say I like the sabotage mechanic a little more. I think the same reason, Parker, is like when you're playing with friends and everybody's jumping around, like talking trash, and you're able to sabotage each other. I remember playing a lot of Mario Kart, and then Crash Bandicoot Racing. That was another one. And people just sabotaging each other and destroying their cars, and it was so much fun,
ruining friendships.
There was a game on the PlayStation called Mod Racers. Do you all remember those?
I remember Mod Racers. Yep.
Man, I loved Mod Racers. It was very, very fun. Like, I really loved Mod Racers. So
yeah, we should have had best racing video game in here also, but I would have went with SSX Tricky, no question.
So good.
All-time favorite racing game. Which is obstacle based, right? It's one is you're not really messing with each. I think there were ways to kind of run into each other a little, and
you could cut each other off, but it was really the branches and the hills and rocks, and
But if we're playing with friends, I mean, I just re-emphasize what everybody else says. Give me Mario Kart all day. Especially you go in Dave and Buster's and they got the 4 and you're all on your big rigs and you're looking at each other and just having a good time. But yeah, for pure, I want speed and I want to see how well I can do, I prefer the game to mess with me. So I think we're pretty.
Oh, go ahead.
I would say I think we're all kind of feeling the same. The friends messing around with each other for friends is where it's at.
Yeah. I think a bridge between those would be the F-Zero series. Those, because they have a decent amount of, like, you don't have like items or anything, but you can always like wreck other people pretty easily in that game. It's not as interactive as like a Mario Kart, but it does have a lot more of that like forward momentum and dodging obstacles and going fast sort of thing.
A series that I didn't get into when I was younger, but I enjoyed it more closer to adulthood, was Wipeout. I didn't care for Wipeout when it was like originally on PlayStation 2. I was just like, whatever. But when I played some of the remastered stuff or some of the newer Wipeout series, I was actually, no, this is really good. Like, the speed, the momentum of the game was really solid. And so,
nice. We got Jason in the chat, racing. You see his comment there.
Yeah.
Racing chat off to an early start.
Indeed. Racing game chat.
They shared with me that this show has made them go on a cruise, buy multiple games, and attend Tantrum Con. So we'll see what we can get them into today.
Yeah, maybe we could get them to buy us a car. That would be fun. Maybe. Like, I don't know. Is that in the budget? So
Matchbox.
Next thing I know, I check my mail. I'm like, oh, cool. I got a Hot Wheels. So, this is an interesting question. This is not in our notes. Matchbox or Hot Wheels?
Oh, I don't know. It might be controversial, but I am definitely Hot Wheels.
Okay.
For Hot Wheels, yeah.
I was Matchbox because my brother collected Hot Wheels, so I went Matchbox.
Okay. The Rebel. I see.
I just took whatever I was. I don't know that we went to garage sales and just grabbed handfuls of them.
There we go. Like, it's like this El Camino is fine for me.
Yeah, this is fine.
As long as it's got wheels, it's fine.
There we go. This is interesting. There is. Let me see if I can find it. It's a really strange name. Maybe if somebody knows, I'm not going to be able to find it on the fly. There is I know what day I searched for it. So there is a site online where you are, let's see, I'm trying to find it, where you can bet on cars, die-cast cars, and they race.
Like the Marble Run stuff was pretty popular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't find it right now. But there's a whole website dedicated to it, and I stumbled upon it on TikTok, and it was crazy. I was like, "What am I watching?
We need to do a bet. We need to do a betting game show. Games
is with... Meal Ticket Raceway. Meal Ticket Raceway. Diecast Racing. It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, anyway, all right. Enough of that.
Hey, next question.
Yeah, what's a mechanic that you like in your racing board games? What's one of the mechanics that you really enjoy or kind of gravitate toward?
I do like a little bit of press your luck. Like I know it's not everybody's thing, but like if you have that option to like try to push your limits, and I think in like heat pedal to the metal, you can try to push your car as hard as possible, but you're going to get loaded up with all those dead cards. But like if you get so much further ahead, like it might have been worth it. So I like having a little bit of like optional push your luck. Like you can play it safe and kind of cruise along, but if you're wanting to really push it and like try to leap ahead, I like being able to have that option where it can backfire.
Yeah. I'm going pressure luck too. That's one of the reasons why I love Heat. And then you see Rallyman GT right down here. It's not on my list of 5 today, but I think one of my favorite things about Rallyman is the pressure luck aspect of putting the dice out there and saying, okay, how far do I want to go? What are my odds? How far am I pushing my car? And then rolling and seeing what happens. And it's definitely one of those things where you play the odds in that game, and you can definitely get burned if you push it too hard. And that's one of the reasons why I love Rallyman. So, and Heat.
Agreed, pressure luck dice stuff, but one of the games I'll have on the pick 5, I do like a dexterity in a racing where there's actually some physical racing involved, and there's one classic that's on my list for that, so that would be my extra for that.
Nice. Next up, we have games that are are speed or time based. Do you consider these to be racing games? And Isaac, you made this question. Are you talking about
so something where you're like, maybe? So for example, like or what'd you say? Which game?
Real time.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Like a real time or like a Ubongo where you're kind of like racing against other players to get something done faster. We're not necessarily just racing against the clock, but like we're all. What's the Jetpack Joyride? I think is that
Jetpack Joyride.
There's like we're racing against each other, but racing against the clock. So time speed, because the racing games we're talking about aren't really real time or time based. So
correct.
Far.
Yeah.
So do you think those are racers?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider that a racing game. It definitely feels like a different subset if you have that real time component to it. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I'm bad at them, so I'm going to say no. I remember we had what's the Dr. Eureka, the balls into the little
Dr. Eureka.
Yeah, Dr. Eureka. You put the little marbles inside the little beakers or whatever they're called.
Beakers.
And so my wife Erin is really good at that, and she's very fast. And the kids were little at the time when we bought the game, and we were just like, she's killing us. And it made the kids not want to play it. And I'm so bad at dexterity games, not dexterity games, but I'm so bad at speed games that I was just like, yeah, I think all 3 of us are done with this. I wanted to play it, but I just wanted to play it with people who are terrible.
What is that game that has just been recently making the rounds where it's you're flipping over the sand timers?
Skyrockets.
Kites?
Kites or skyrockets.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Like that one just really makes me like I almost want to like break out into hives because like I'm so anxious about like turning all the timers. So I think I'm in the same boat as you, as I'm not good at them and they stress me out a little bit. Yeah, I think I'd still consider them racing games.
Skyrockets actually is one of the very few that I really, really enjoy.
Ironically, you actually like that one.
Yeah, it is ironic because Skyrockets, when I first got it, I was reading through the instructions and I was like, this is probably not getting reviewed on our channel because Aaron hates real-time games, like across the board. Aaron never has a good time with real-time games. And then I'm like, I'm not fast enough at it, so I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm going to always be bad at it. But this one, there's something about it that I really like. And like, I like Skyrockets a lot, you know? So it is interesting that game kind of breaks the mold for me. So
yeah,
it's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about, just because when we started talking about racing games, I kind of felt like, okay, there's only so many games that fit in that genre for me. But then as I explored it on BGG, it's like, oh, there are a lot of games that I've played that have a racing mechanic to them. But yeah, I think it's a speed style game, like you said, but it kind of exists outside of these pure racers where we feel like we're not really dealing with real time. So
yeah,
it's
tough because like when I was first researching like all like the different racing games that were out there when I first started working on Trash Dash, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing anything redundant or anything like that. The concept of a racing game can be a very wide net because it does encompass stuff like that where it's race against the clock. You could take some Euro games and call them racing games because you're racing to a certain number of points. So like there's a weird strata of like different things that make a racing game. So it kind of falls in line of like what you personally define as a racing game. Like, does it have to thematically be like a race, like with literal characters or vehicles or whatever racing each other? Like, does it need to have that time element? Does it need to have just a goal in mind, whether that's victory points or a certain number of laps or whatever? Like it gets it gets really interesting, like how some people will define a racing game versus others. So I like that question a lot, though. That's a good one.
Speaking of your research when putting together Trash Dash is currently on Kickstarter. And so we want to talk to you. We wanted to have you on. Yeah, there we go. Double Trash Dash.
So much garbage.
So much trash. So we wanted to have you on the show because this is currently on Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter now through October 18th. And we actually met through Tantrum Con. So we met at Tantrum Con. I was really intrigued by, you had these, you had the characters like Penelope. You had the stand like was it cardboard or it was
plastic? They're 3D printed, actually.
3D printed, yeah.
So I've got this is the actual, like the little meeples for the characters, but they're like probably a foot tall, just like printouts of each of the little characters. So had all the little critters up on the table.
Yeah, and they were on. So you had a little table set up. You had these characters, and I was like, "Oh man, those look really cool." And I wanted to know more about the game because I really enjoyed the illustration. So tell us a little about what Trash Dash is and how it came about.
Yeah, so I am a professional illustrator. That's actually how I got into the board game space. I've worked on a couple of different games for other folks. Most notably, recently was Worn Wanderers, which is a enamel pin based trading card game.
Oh yeah, I've seen them at the cons.
Yeah, where you're using your character pins on a lanyard with little cards attached to them to kind of fight each other.
Nice.
So that was one of the ones that actually got me into the board gaming community as a whole, because I had gone to Gen Con with them to demo it. So that was a really fun exposure to the board gaming space as a whole. I had always played games growing up and everything, like most folks do. But until Gen Con, I hadn't really considered being a part of like the larger community. So just going and being around all of these people and seeing all the exciting things that people were doing in this space made me really want to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
So this was about 2 years ago. I started working on a couple of different game ideas. Trash Dash turned out to be the one that is the the most streamlined. Folks typically tell you with your first game to make something a little bit more simple so that you can actually get it across the finish line. So that was the one that I kind of ran with. I've still got a couple other game ideas that I'm working on in the background, but
nice.
But yeah, so Trash Dash has been play tested and developed over the last 2 years. I've been taking it to in-person playtesting groups, doing online playtesting since probably end of last year. I've been doing public-focused demoing, so just kind of working tables at conventions and stuff, trying to get the game in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah,
and it's paying off.
Nice.
It's really exciting to see that folks are really enthusiastic about supporting the game now that the actual Kickstarter is here.
Yeah. We one of the things that I really like is these meeples that you see on the screen. Like the meeples are really cool because you're moving them around the table. You set up your board based on these little skinny board pieces that can be mixed and matched. So those double-sided track tiles. You're able to use these track tiles in a way that you can make your own board. You can have as many obstacles or as few obstacles as you want on there with, thinking about, like one of the things that I did, I set it up when I played last, I set it up so that you would land on a spill and you would slide into a box for safety, and I was thinking about that mechanic of like, when you hit this spill, you can either slide them into something dangerous or just keep sliding them forward, or I put that spill right in front of a box so that they slide right into a box. So people who were looking for safety because we kept attacking each other would jump onto that space and slide right into safety, and it was cool because I kind of catered it to teaching people who had never played the game before, and people understood what was happening, So
yeah, and that's one of the main goals with the game is to make it as accessible as possible. The different track setups that you can make that are included with the game, they do kind of scale in complexity as you go through them, but having the ability to customize and make your own tracks, because you can make them with as many or as few tiles as you want. You can make them with 1 to 4 laps to complete. So you can really mix and match things to make each game feel fresh and exciting.
And I do like the suggestion of a tournament because let's say people have a little more time on their hands, because really the game plays in 30 minutes, unless you put out a crazy track, the game plays in 30 minutes and it's a pretty casual experience. But if you want something where it's a little more competitive and you want a tournament atmosphere, I know we played Heat on a family vacation one time as a tournament. So each day we would play Heat, and then at the end of the family vacation, we tallied up everybody's placement. So Trash Dash, you can set up some smaller tracks, race real quick, race for 20 minutes, and then have everybody gets awarded points for where they positioned. They came in place. And it's really cool because you can set up whatever structure you want to play with your friends and family, and it plays up to 6, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it plays up to 6, which is fantastic. Like racing games for me, I mean, all of the ones I've got a racing game up here plays 8, 10, 4, 6, and 4. So that higher player count really works for racing games.
Oh, for sure, especially with games that have speedy turns to them. Like in Trash Dash, you're either playing one card, you're playing a trash card and another card, and then your turn's over. It's on to the next person. With games that can be speedy like that, it definitely lends itself to higher player counts, which is great.
Cool. So Cody in the comments put a deal that he found at Ollie's years ago when he got into gaming. Didn't play it once or twice, but it was it's called Hot Rod Creeps, and so it has that what is the name of the Ratfink art style with the crazy looking hot rods?
Yeah, the eyes popping out and stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting. It looks like more of a straightforward racing game that you would see. We didn't talk about our least favorite racing game, which we could. I definitely have mine. So
we don't talk about least favorites, right?
Least favorites, but anyway. Trash Dash is really fun. We did a full preview of this game, and I also did an overview on our YouTube channel. You can find an overview, but it is currently on Kickstarter now through October 18th. It's a lot of fun, and if you're looking for something that is a casual racing game that the whole family can jump into, this one, unless you need this back, Parker, this one's going on vacation with us in November when I go on vacation with my family. So if you don't need it back, it's going on vacation with us, because I know that my mom and my sister-in-law has already played it. She loves it. So
good to hear.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of folks, especially folks who aren't necessarily gamers, they connect with it because they get to choose their character. They're cute little critters. Like, they're not really ones that you want to go scoop up off the street, but they're cute critters. They each have their own little special powers. So all these little things tend to pull people in, especially folks who are a little intimidated by like big board game stuff. But it's nice and welcoming to most folks. So.
Yeah, I do like so this is Winston. He's got a side A and a side B, and he's got two different player powers. And so I do like that asymmetric player ability. I choose to play as Aesop, the sewer rat. He's the smallest creature on the board, and I'm usually the largest person in the room. So, Chad, I don't know what Parker did wrong to end up on the show, but whatever it is, I hope you can redeem yourself and bounce back. It's going to be a long road, Chad. Long road.
Summer.
Go Braves.
Yeah, go Braves. Chad. Yeah, Chad's an Atlanta boy, and Braves are in the playoffs, I believe. That's what I hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I just lots of baseball news today.
I don't like baseball, so
yeah, I don't hear it. Pete Rose died though today.
Did he?
Yeah, just a little bit before we started our show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. This is also baseball stuff.
I also didn't know that he was still alive.
What is Stuart talking about? He said mixed up the names.
Mixed up the names. Stuart, explain yourself in the comments, long form, because we want to read on air.
Wait, are these names in white on? Are these actually showing up?
What?
Our names, like my name, Isaac, is this showing up?
Isaac, yeah.
No, probably because he wants me to be called Trash Man.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I see what he did. Stuart,
I thought that was just on our end. I didn't realize it showed up.
No, it's showing up out there. So, Stuart, your comedy is far above our wit. So.
I got what he meant.
There we go.
No, hey, what's next? Definitely held on to that nickname. Kid at Tantrum Con was telling his parents, like, "Mom, we got to go play the Trash Man's game. The Trash Man's game."
Hilarious.
Like, all right, that's cool.
Let's do it. Trash Man. I'll take it. Yeah. Let's talk about Pick 5.
Wait a second.
Oh, geez. Is it worse?
I have an updated graphic for racing stuff. I had time to do this today.
Okay. This is the Game Chat presents Pick 5. These are 5 games based on our topic of the day, and they aren't the most. These are not our top 5, but these are 5 that we would recommend.
You stumbled through that very well, sir.
I tried. You usually do it.
Go ahead. There. It's the Pick 5.
Oh no!
One-board family game with sidekicks.
It's gotten worse.
Yep. We've added some racing components. You'll notice.
Okay.
The Wienermobile.
Okay. Oh, the Wienermobile. Okay.
And cars.
I was just going off of
Queen in there.
Ick 5.
And I even included the panda in the top right.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it was P, but your body's covering it.
Oh, that's usually what happens. Yeah. And why are there arrows to your face on everything?
Yep, that is a mystery to be solved later, sir.
Oh.
As long as there's no Matchbox cars on it.
Oh, no hatred toward Matchbox. They were cool. So. They were less expensive than Hot Wheels.
Get out of here, Chad. Yeah, the pick 5. It's not our favorite games. It's not top games. It's not the best games in the genre. It's just 5 games we want to share with you in racing, and that we'd love you to check out and play. We usually like to show off the games if you have them. I have like a third of my collection packed up in boxes in my garage for where we thought we were moving, may not be moving. I have no idea what's happening in my life. So I've got a couple of them I can show off. So you jinxed us with the comments, by the way.
I absolutely did. I've never said no spam, and now we're getting hit with spam.
Go figure.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Parker, you're first.
Are you share a game in the racing genre that you'd like people to check out?
Yeah. So my list is actually games that I would also like to check out and haven't had a chance to.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So the first one on my list is Spring Rally. So it's based around these little like wind-up toy cars, and you're playing trick taking to determine who is actually moving. It's like a really interesting twist because you don't know exactly if you're going to be moving that amount or if somebody else is going to win and get the chance to use their card, but your movement is based off of the number that you play. It's really convoluted sounding, but it looks really cool. And it's super cute artwork and everything as well. But
interesting. Yeah, that does look cute. Yeah.
All
right, we're searching BGG. So.
Yep, you got it.
You got it. Okay, let's see.
Boom.
It's taking a minute. There we go. What year was this one? 2018. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one before. Very nice. So my first one would be Shikoku. This one's an interesting one. You are trying to race up the stairs to the temple, and there are 33 stairs, but you don't want to be the first one up the stairs to the temple, and you don't want to be the last one. You want to practice moderation in this game, and so you actually want to be the second person up the stairs to show that you're not too eager.
Yes.
Shikoku is a very weird game because the first time you play it, you're like, I know exactly where I went wrong. And you're drafting cards and playing cards in order to draft for future turns. It's a really unique game, and not enough people have played it. Shikoku is really fun, and it is a racing game. So
it's so good. So good. Evan, Becky and Jason introduced us to that one.
Nice.
I'll throw one of his on there for the few games I did have that I could find, and that's Camel Cup. Camel Cup. This is the Z-Man print of it. So it's an older one. I have all the expansions in here, but as you can see, is it spelled Camel
Up
Cup, C-U-P
up
on there. And I know Ryan likes this, so when you turn the box around, nothing is lined up correctly.
Perfect.
If you haven't played this, just fun, easy betting. It's a betting game as much as a racing game. It's betting on which camel's going to do well, which one's going to do poorly, and it is wild how much it changes. So
that's true. Racing game. So Chad's going racing games. Snowtails, Downforce, Mississippi Queen, Thunder Alley, and Camel Up.
Camel picks. Actually, my next pick was going to be Snowtails.
Nice.
Yeah, so that one you've got sled dogs. You've got to play cards on your left dog, your right dog, and then your brakes. So it determines both your speed and also your turning capability. And this one's definitely one that falls into the category of obstacles during a race instead of messing with your opponent, because you're looking out for trees and rocks and trying to find the most optimal path while keeping your dogs in line. So.
Very cool. I've seen it. I've seen the game, but I've never actually played it. And I actually didn't know about that mechanic of doing that. So very cool.
Yeah, it's a super interesting way to balance the actual distance that you're going with your direction as well. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like that one.
All right. Hank coming in with his 5: Formula D, Thunder Road Vendetta, Downforce, Shikoku, Jamaica. Okay. It's interesting. Thunder and Vendetta is not on my list, even though I love it so much. But Formula D is. Interesting story with Formula D. I started a Formula D racing league at our work, and it went on for a couple years. It was fantastic and had a lot of fun and made a lot of really good relationships out of this little league that we started. And
it was just Ryan playing by himself.
It was me by myself and my multiple personalities. So.
Ouch.
Yep, that is exactly how it happened.
Solo D. Another one I managed to find is another betting racing light horrible is a long shot the dice game. Really enjoy this one. Again, one that plays a lot. Is this 8 players?
8 players, yeah.
Out of the box. So great game. Also one of my favorite. I don't know. I love magnet
clasps. Yeah,
clasp boxes, and it's a lot of game in this box. So solid game.
A lot of variation too, because you have different decks of cards that you can use. Our box actually is starting to bite the dust, so I've actually got tape on the inside and the outside of the box.
That's well loved,
sealing everything up. So
you played a lot then.
Yep.
Yeah. So the next
number 3,
mine would be Flamme Rouge, the bicycle racing game.
Yes.
That one uses a lot of. What is the word? Not drafting.
Deck building?
No, where you're going behind somebody.
Drifting?
Slipstreaming. Yeah.
Drafting.
Well, I guess drafting, yeah.
It's a word. It's one of those.
Drafting is confusing because drafting mechanics.
Yes, not that kind of drafting.
But that's definitely one that I would really like to play here soon.
Nice.
It seems like a very smart. You have to be a little bit smarter in balancing how you're doing because you've got 2 racers in that one.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make sure that you're pacing your 2 guys well enough and also taking advantage of that slipstreaming behind other players as well.
Yeah, and it's also like jumping right out to the front is the worst idea in that game. Like, I don't know how many times I've played where somebody just pushes themselves straight to the front and then they slowly get passed by everybody in the game. So
it's good. I played it a few times. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I've never played with the expansions. So by the same creators, Heat, this one is a deck builder that has really been popular the past year and a half, 2 years. And I really enjoy Heat. There's a lot of game in this box. Without an expansion, you've got multiple tracks. You've got support up to 6 players, or in my case, 5, because one of the playmats is not in there. And as Madej said, tough luck. But there's expansions inside the box that work so well. You know, you can make it as advanced as you feel like playing. So,
sorry to hear that. That sucks.
Yeah.
If I had a copy, I'd give you my extra board out of it.
I'm gonna make a printout. Or you know what I should do?
Just print one.
I should just take a piece of paper and draw it.
Yeah, you can do that. Print it. I'm sure you have some old other games, some prototypes. You could just slap it to a board.
Well, no, some crayons. I'm thinking like that we give that board to a kid, you know, or the sloppiest racer at the table.
That would be me.
That's you.
Speaking of racing games, one that I don't have out that I love, they have every expansion of, and is probably my favorite racing game, is Downforce. I love Downforce. I love the hand management of the cards, the knowing when to play things, the drafting at the front end. Just a tiny bit of drafting in a game is one of my favorite, like Res Arcana, if you play it out and you draft at the beginning. I love that tiny, just give me a little bit of draft, and then we move to the rest of the game. Nice. One of my favorite racers of all time.
That's awesome. Hank, with a horror story, I bought Formula D at Origins, brought it home, and a friend spilled a full glass of water on the board.
Wasn't me.
What?
He said friends, so it definitely wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's true. That's true. So, all right.
Sweet.
Number 4.
Next one on my list would be Quest for El Dorado. So speaking of deck building, So this is one that may not necessarily fall into everyone's definition of racing game, but like you are technically racing to El Dorado. So I feel like it's a fun kind of twist on that because you're all making your way through the. Oh, there you go, right there.
That was also my number 4.
Nice, very good. But yeah, so as somebody who's actually played it, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, it is. When I talk to people about like starting a board game collection, this is actually the very first game that I tell people to buy, because it is the most straightforward deck building racing experience that you're going to have. And I feel like everything from the illustrations to the concepts to the boards that they give you, the difficulty of the boards that they give you in the instruction manual, all of it goes to the fact that anybody who has a game shelf should have that, because you teach the newcomers, you make a harder map for the hardcore gamers, and you still have a great time.
Fair enough. I'm gonna say another one I don't have. It's Pitch Car. This is the dexterity one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I figured this is the one you were talking about.
Pitch Car is great. I don't own it. Pitch Car is kind of hard to come by in some ways also. But when we went to the Gamers Ranch, which is Gamer Nirvana Heaven, he had every pitch car and multiple sets you could think of, and just brought out this giant box, and he was like, make a set. I was like, this is overwhelming. So he made this really cool thing for us to flick around and play. I know there's a pitch car mini that I wouldn't mind owning. Dexterity is just such a fun genre that I continue to find myself leaning more into. And pitch car is the racing version of that.
How has pitch car not gotten a full like reprint from somebody? Is that I don't know. Yeah, I don't because it's been hard to find for a long time.
And, Chad, give us some.
That's exactly Chad. Work on
honestly, it might be the manufacturing cost because of all of the different components.
It is a lot, but I mean the fact that people are buying
following though,
$300 or $400 boxes of minis. I mean,
massive following.
Yeah. It's like the crokinole of racing games.
It is indeed
so much. All right, number 5, Parker.
So the one on my list that I am most excited to try out is Thunder Road Vendetta.
So good.
Yeah. It just looks like everything that I would want in a racing game, because you can bump people, you can shoot people, you can call in a helicopter, like you can literally get left behind on a tile if somebody gets far enough ahead. I really have to find the right group to get that out with. So
Thunder Road Vendetta was my number 1 game last year. And
nice.
It just I bought it twice. That's how
it
much
looks
I
so
enjoyed
good.
it. So,
it does look so good.
It's very good.
I know. Did I buy I bought somebody's copy?
No,
yours or AJ's.
It was AJ's because I sold my copy to Shannon.
That's right.
In Atlanta. So Chad said so much stuff, and he said no to pitch car. So I guess we're gonna have to grease those palms with some dollar bills, and I literally mean dollars.
Because just the dollars, all I got for you.
Just like $4 maybe, Chad. Anyway, this one's Cubitos. This one's from AEG, and this is a silly racing game where you're some kind of weird square animal and you're running around this map. It is silly. I didn't like it the first time, then I liked it, and then I liked it more as I played it more. It is very, very replayable because you can choose what abilities are attached to each of the dice, and so you're rolling dice and you're keeping some dice and you're moving them over to a spot, using them, and then using your old dice. It's got this whole like conveyor belt system to it, and it's really fun. It's a fun racing game that I think, similar to El Dorado, you make you ramp up the difficulty or lower it based on who's playing. So,
how old is that one? That one's got a few
years
on it, right?
3 or 4 years. Yeah, I think 2020, maybe 2021. So. I bought it used at Southern Fried, I think.
Yeah,
I know I don't own it, but I don't think I've even played it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good. We can play it.
Yeah, that definitely goes into the push your luck aspect of like if you have a game where you're rolling a ton of dice constantly, like that really scratches the right itches.
Yeah, this one, and the dice are small too. That's the other thing. That these dice are very tiny. So let's see. Yeah, so everything packs up in the boxes that actually hold the dice, and so that's one of the dice. So it's very small dice.
Yeah.
So whole boxes and boxes of dice.
I think my last one is also a betting game similar to Camel Cup, but a racing betting. That's Ready Set Bet. Race Set Bet is it's a racing game. We're betting on the racing, but racing is at its core. Love it. Don't play it enough. It's kind of, as content creators, we just end up like cascading on top of one another, and you forget about how good games are. But I was thinking about, man, that's one I'd love to get back out. And
it is really good.
Yeah, so it was just a fun game.
We did a Ready Set Bet lunch at Dice and Diversions last year, and I was calling the horses, and it was an overhead camera. Oh man, it was so much fun. So it was really good. We had tables full of people. Yeah. So
awesome.
Very cool.
That's our pick 5. Thanks for sharing for those that did with theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Chad says on the pitch car, there was a mini version made not too long ago, so maybe it's still active but shifted to a new edition. So interesting. I'm going to have to look up Pitch Car Mini, because if it's available, if I can get it without spending $1 million, that would be nice.
$1 million is a lot of money for a game.
Yeah, absolutely. So Parker, what have you been playing before we go? We like to share a game that we're currently that's currently hitting the table around us.
Yeah.
What you been playing?
So I play a lot of small games, just because of time and that sort of thing. So with friends, I've been playing a lot of Tic Tac Slash by the Wheeler Forge. So Tic Tac Slash, it's a one-on-one tic-tac-toe game where you're literally building out the grid as you go. You have to cover at least one square with your card. So you can do 1 or 2. You just go around and around until somebody's got 3 in a row. It sounds super simple because it is super simple, but there are a dangerous number of strategies that kind of come out as you play it. It's a lot of fun for a 5-minute game. And then for solo, I've been playing Pocket Puffins, which is not actually out yet. It'll be kickstarting later this year. The only reason I have a copy is because I'm the illustrator. So this is for a buddy of mine named Edward Bell. But it's a little solo puzzle game where you're trying to rearrange a row of 9 puffins into a specific color order. So it's got your little patterns that you have to finish on there. Yeah. And then on the cards, you'll also notice there's igloos in the background. So if you're getting extra points for lining up the igloos as you rearrange them.
Sweet.
It's a really fun little like 10-minute puzzle. You can break out and play it, hurt your brain a little bit and put it away. Pocket Puffins coming to, I think, Kickstarter later this year.
So, very nice.
That's awesome. I've been playing that game that is over your shoulder, Isaac. Speakeasy is real freaking good. So,
just came in the mail yesterday.
Did it just show up? Okay,
yes,
good.
Sir.
Yeah, that came from our house, so it should smell like our table.
Like feet, yeah.
That's disgusting. That is gross. So Speakeasy is fantastic. It's Eagle Griffin Games. It's currently on Kickstarter. It's a big, chunky Euro game that is very, very fun. So
my favorite duo.
Yeah. Chad said, backed it, need to play it. I'll teach you, Chad.
Come on over. It's at my house indefinitely now.
Yeah.
It ain't going anywhere from my house.
Chad's visiting us in a couple days, and it would have been nice to have that.
Should have held it a little longer then.
I was trying to be nice to you.
That's very kind of you.
Anyway, this one right here, Gnome Hollow.
Cool. So good artwork too, right?
We've been really what now?
on the Speakeasy. That's Ian O'Toole artwork.
Oh yeah,
right?
so good. These little Tool Lacerda duos. Yeah,
it's great. But yeah, we've been playing a lot of Gnome Hollow. Gnome Hollow plays very different 2 to 4 players. So it's definitely a fun one, no matter if you're playing with just another person or whether you've got a whole table of people. It's Gnome Hollow is a good one. So
yeah, it's super good.
Yep. And what about you?
Yeah, so I've been playing some Things and Rings from All Play. It's a game. You played this, right? You got a chance to.
Yeah, I watched people play it, and I realized I have nobody.
Oh man! Like even the people who think like I don't know about that love this game.
Really,
because it's quick. It's quick, which helps, right? And you can make this as cooperative or as competitive as you want.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the fun of figuring out how do these things match up to the rings, what properties do they share, what word structure. So that one's a lot of fun. And then kind of at Gen Con, I didn't do a lot of stuff. This booth kind of sent me, can you pick up a couple of our games or Japanese imports? We'd love to get some eyes on them. And this is probably going to be on my top 10 list this year. Takoris are bottles of sake. So it's dinosaurs who drink sake.
Okay.
And your goal is to drink the sake, but not be left with bottles. And as you're playing it's a trick taker. It's not really trick taking. It's a card game. I don't want to call it trick taking. It's a weird. So Simon, or our buddy Simon, who plays a ton of games also, said, I've never played anything like this.
Really?
I've never played anything like this either.
Okay.
It's the way you're playing the cards. You're emptying your sake vessels, but you might have to empty other people's. And the goal is to not end up with sake left in front of you at the end of the round. It's great. Highly recommend checking it out.
It's freaking adorable too.
It's dinosaurs
with their little arms.
Yeah, and the crazy part is the cards don't even have the dinosaurs on them. The cards are so simple. They're literally just some numbers and the sake bottle on the other side that you kind of monitor how much you have in them. So
interesting.
It's silly. It's light. It's got some plastic coins, which is nice. I cannot talk enough about this. Be doing some content on it coming up real soon.
Very cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode. So, Parker, where can people find you at online?
They can find me at shinypigeongames.com, Shiny Pigeon Games on Facebook and Instagram. And like we've plugged multiple times, Trash Dash is currently on Kickstarter until October 18th. So come over and join the party. Hop on in the dumpster and see what's going on.
That's right. Check out Trash Dash. It is very fun, and if I'm allowed to keep it, I'm going to be playing it in November with my family. So you can find us at One Board Family. OneBoardFamily.com is where you'll find all of our content. This one, La Familia Hort, is going to be up for review tomorrow as part of our 30-something days of Halloween. Spooky season is our favorite season. We've got a full playthrough of La Familia Hort going out tomorrow morning. And what about you, Isaac?
Yeah, you can find us anywhere at Gaming with Sidekicks on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, MySpace, ICQ, any of the above. You can find our most recent review, which was, I think, Fairy from All Play, and I got a few more of those small box games we'll be covering. And over on our TikTok, I'll be starting up a new series about what game can I get my teenager to play with me. So we've had some really good comments on that with some of our other videos. So I'm going to be going through
Is it going to be just you berating your teenagers to play? Yeah.
No, it's games my teens actually like. Like my son the other night we had some of his friends over, and he came down the basement, came up with like 6 games. He's like, I want to teach these games. So it was awesome.
Nice. Bright Eyes Games is doing an English localization of that one.
It is
that
Bright
one.
Eye.
That is. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's who. Yeah, they said they had these Japanese imports. There was that one and one called Sumu, I think. What is their other import game they brought in?
Nice.
So
cool.
Fun little card games.
Awesome. Well, Parker, thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking about racing games and talking about Trash Dash. Everybody go support Trash Dash on Kickstarter. You can find it right now through October 18th. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Awesome. Thanks, appreciate everybody. You guys.
Yep, take care.